nice.
Hey YouTubers, Grimmy Dragon here, and it is time to wrap up our marathon of action figures from the 1986 Transformers movie, and we are finishing this off right. We are going to be taking a look at the big bad himself, the most incredible villain that the Transformers have faced. I mean, he was big as a planet. He was a planet, so yeah, he's kind of big. And that is none other than Unicron. More specifically, the 2011 25th Anniversary edition of Unicron. Now, 2010 was a big deal to Karatomi, and they highlighted it with a pair of very nice releases of Unicron and Primus, repainting their Superlink and Galaxy Force versions respectively, giving some special details to Unicron like a new head. A year later, Hasbro decided to take that new version of Unicron, redeco it to a more movie-accurate style, keeping the new head intact, and releasing it as an Amazon exclusive for the 25th anniversary of the movie. And this is that Amazon exclusive that we're looking at today. As you can see, in his planet mode, he does look pretty close to how he did in the movie. Although it's pretty obvious this is the Armada Unicron mold. But it does a good job of representing the character. And I think when the Armada Unicron came out, everybody was really happy that we at least got a Unicron. And for him to repaint him like this, huge props to Hasbro. This turned out great. As you can see, he does have that dark gray shell, or planet body, with like a bronze, like a light brown, somewhat gold bronze ring around him, and like it's kind of hard to describe the color. It's more of a brownish orange with metallic sheen, but it also makes up the claws. There's a this comes off, don't worry. You got the ring around here. That leads to the centerpiece. Got spikes on the top. So all in all, it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, it can't really stand on its own like this. I don't think any planet would. And while this is how they would have you display it, it doesn't work out this way. Back in the day, third parties did make a stand for it called the Throne of Chaos, which is very difficult to find nowadays. Unfortunately, I never got a hold of it, so I had to lean it up against the wall if I display it like this. Still, he does have a slew of action features in this mode. Most notably, if you close these claw bits, you can see that there's a jaw inside the planet mouth that opens and shuts, making it look like he's gobbling down a planet. Being an Armada toy, there are also features for his Minicon, which is actually named Kranix. Nice little nod to the movie. the Lumerian who escaped from Unicron at the opening was named Kranix, so yeah, this works out pretty well for that, although he looks absolutely nothing like the character, but I appreciate the nod. But he is indeed a Minicon. Has a rotating gun, and can transform into a little robot. Like so. Who has some basic articulation. Forward back on the arms, no elbows. Forward back on the legs and some toe movement, so not a lot. Still, being an Armada toy, a Minicon is kind of mandatory, so. And I do like that they named him Kranix, just to further homage the movie. But as I was saying, being a Minicon, you have various ports along the ring. As you can see, which you can plug him into. Have him be a little moon that's orbiting around Unicron. Officially, you're supposed to be able to plug him in here, but it doesn't work so well. So he just pulls out very easy and can fall out even easier. Last but not least, you can plug him in to these side panels here. Push to fire a 3-pack of missiles. So yeah. You got plenty of options for use of that Minicon. And there are a few more in robot mode. Now for a quick size comparison, we'll just take Starscream. Now, back in the day, he was a figure everybody had one version or another of. So yeah, he'll be fine for comparisons. You can see Unicron's fairly big in this form. Obviously not bigger than Devi or Metroplex, but he's not a small one. He's technically called a Supreme class, which they had to actually make up for Unicron, Primus, and Omega Supreme. So yeah. But anyway, I think that's enough for planet mode. Let's see the robots. And now in robot mode, Unicron is immensely impressive. This is a really great representation of the character. Couldn't even begin to tell you how happy I was to get this guy. Now I have the the Armada Unicron somewhere in storage. I don't have access to it directly right now, but I have seen that up close, and this is so much better. That orangish brown plastic with that nice metallic sheen works out so nicely on this guy. I mean, it is dead on with the movie. Especially with that nice slate bluish gray, the silver. All in all, this is by far the best representation of Unicron that I've ever seen. And I'll go out and say it, I've seen pictures of the Takara release of this guy. Hasbro topped Takara on this Unicron. I mean, this is way better than 2010 Unicron. The paint job is so much nicer. I mean, 2010 Unicron looks like a Halloween pumpkin compared to this guy. So, I like it. I really do. But why don't we get a look at that face? Since it's a new part for this guy. And that is so perfect for Unicron. I mean, that is a dead ringer for the movie. Got the beard, the mustache. I mean, let's see if he even has the green eyes. Now, I'm going to nitpick because he still has the light up feature, but it is red. Let's see if I can kill the light. I kill the lights real quick to bring out the effect, and you can see they're still red. I would have been so much happier if it just glowed green when that button was pressed. And just to show that it's still there. He does have the glowing hands as well, which I can live with that. I mean, I think that's pretty cool that they kept it. Get my lights back on. So I think it's great that they kept the feature in there, because they changed the head, but they did not lose a single feature from the Armada toy, which is good. And I'm happy that they kept all the features in there. Everything is intact. Unnecessary as they are, they're there. I'm going to gush a little bit more about the deco before we get into it, because as you can see, they painted the chest to match the movie. Of course, unlike Takara's version, which had an orange stripe going straight down, they made an effort to match the paint up with all the panel lines, with all the sculpted detail. I think that is a much wiser take on it, and really helps the figure out immensely. Because, it'd be odd to see a line going straight down, straight through all that molded material, because that wouldn't make as much sense. I think it was wise on Hasbro's part to actually paint in around the molded details to help the figure out. And the placement of the darker gray is actually done fairly well. Again, maintaining the inside sculpted detail. He has the chest out, like the abs in red. And there's some details picked out on the shoulders. With some nice bronze paint apps and some gray and red. And some on the thighs, or the shins, which look really good. So yeah, paint-wise, he is done exceptionally well. Now for features, you saw the light-up gimmicks already. He does have all the ports that he had on, like most of the ports at least. He has all these wing ports. He has two on the shoulders that are hidden in the pauldrons. But he also has some hiding spots. He has a couple little spots in each shin. You can take a Minicon or a Micromaster, transform him to make it easier. Just stuff him in. and hide him away. Let's get a close-up of that. Provided they don't get stuck. And he did get stuck, didn't he? Hold on a sec. Ah, here we go. But yeah, just opens up, you can hide them in there. Just be careful, they can get stuck in there, unfortunately. You can actually rotate these shin pieces down to have access to those missiles, so they're still active. And in his belly, it's supposed to hinge down, but it does tend to pop out a bit. But it's supposed to fold down to reveal a hidden spot for a Micron. Excuse me. So, yeah, you get some nice sculpted detail in there to really help it out. But yeah, that looks pretty good. And last but not least, much like Armada, he maintains the ability to just plug the Micron into the back, and yeah, he has the giant chest cannon that shoots out the giant, very strangely shaped missile. Which looks even stranger if you just try to keep it in there. That's a carryover from Armada. And I'm not going to complain about a feature that, an added feature that was from a previous version. But anyway, I think it's time we looked at the articulation a bit, because he actually has a fair amount. Now, he does have left and right movement at the head, a little bit at least. He has, give me a sec. He has forward, backward at the shoulder, in and out at the shoulder, bicep swivel, 90-degree at the elbow, and you can tell these are all on really nice solid ratchet joints. He has a wrist swivel, individually articulated fingers, and a movement at the thumb. So he's got plenty of articulation at the hands. He has a waist swivel. Nice tight ratchets at the hips for forward, backward, in and out. And that ratchet actually shook the codpiece loose. He has a swivel right below the knee. A 90-degree bend at the knee. Forward, backward at the ankles, and a little bit of ankle pivot. So yes, Unicron is very mobile and somewhat tough to move because he is got such tight joints. But you know what? That's worth it because he will hold a pose very well. And I do appreciate that. All in all, I do like this guy. Now for some size comparisons. Don't have a whole lot nearby, but I can bring in a couple. Let's bring in Deluxe RC. You can tell, very tiny next to Unicron. Screamer, because he's here. Again, very tiny. Ultra Magnus. Bigger, but still small next to Unicron. And that was just him dropping a gun. Nothing to worry about. And, you know, last but not least, since he's still nearby, we'll bring in Masterpiece Screamer. Who again is dwarfed by Unicron entirely. And Leader Megatron. So yeah, Unicron's a big boy. He is a really big one, and he is awesome looking. Hands down, a great figure. Okay, so that should definitely wrap up our look at Unicron. Again, an awesome figure. Highly recommend him. He's going to be tough to get a hold of nowadays, but if you can find him, he is worth the pickup. I would say the 25th anniversary issue version that this one is by far the best one to get. Although 2010 Unicron should be fine, or the Marta, they would be good representations of the character as well. I just think this guy's the best. But in any case, that'll about wrap up this review. So, you know, the usual like, comment, subscribe. It'd be very appreciated. But in the meantime, I think it's time I took a little break. You know, I'm going to slow down on the reviews for a bit because I'm running out of things to review, basically. So I'll get something out. I'll probably get the next TFCC figure out later on, once I get it. But in the meantime, just feel free. I got a whole backlog of videos for you guys to watch. I hope you enjoy them. And I'll see you next time. So take care, so long, have fun, and bye-bye.